Okay, so we're now going to practice a sequence of turning around this red buoy here, using a little trick where we roll over onto the back and then back onto the front. Especially when you're leading a race or out in a bit of clear space yourself, this can be quite an effective way to cut around the buoy nice and close without disrupting your rhythm. But not everyone who tries this exercise likes it. So what we're going to see is, with the swimmers behind me here, I'm going to give a quick demo. They're then going to try and copy it, and we'll see we'll gauge their gain their reaction straight after they've done the turn and see what they make of it and whether or not it'll benefit their swimming. Here we go. Okay.
With the signs?
Completely. Yeah. All good? So do you tell them to use that on one? So I'm now going to do the same turn again, but this time turning to my left. I'll slow this down a little bit this time. So as the left hand slides past the buoy, i.e. the hand closest to the buoy there, I'm then going to roll over onto my back and then back onto the front. Now that should give me quite a nice 90-degree turn. If your turn needs to be a little bit tighter than that, then of course you can actually sequence two of these turns or rollovers in together, and that'll actually give you a slightly tighter angle and keep you a little bit straighter when you come out to the buoy. So let's have a little go with this. Slightly slower this time. Okay guys, so just watching this then. So as the left hand slides past, I'll roll over. So the buoy will be to my back as I roll over. I won't actually be able to see the buoy as I go over. Okay, here we go. You can easily practice these open water turns at home without actually being in the pool. Here we are stood on this jetty. I want you to imagine the lamppost just to my right hand side here. Could be a chair or some other object at your house. What we're going to do here, as silly as it might seem and as daft as you might feel in front of your family doing this little exercise, is I'm going to show you in slow motion how to actually move around this lamppost here, rolling over onto my back and then back onto my front. The key is to actually slide the arm closest to the lamppost in this case, or in the open water, the buoy, past the buoy and then roll over onto your back. So here we go. So I'll just actually walk through it. And again, it does look a little bit silly, but it's easy just to get the idea of the rhythm required. So I'm not going to roll now. I'm actually going to allow this right arm to slide past the lamppost, roll over onto my back and then back onto my front. And then away I go again. Just that very, very simple movement, flipping over onto my back and then back onto my front, allows me to cut a nice 90-degree turn around the lamppost, or obviously in the open water of the buoy. Let's watch it from the other direction. So I'm now going to do a left-hand turn. I'm going to swim in towards the buoy, slide my left hand past the buoy there, and you'll notice that as I'm rolling over, I can't actually see the buoy. It's actually behind me there. I'm rolling over onto my back, and then back onto my front, and away I go again. Now, if you do find that you've actually got quite a tight turn to do, you might actually like to sequence a couple of those together. Let's try that. Let's imagine this corner is a little bit more angular. So I'm going to swim in this time. I'm going to roll over onto my back, onto my front, onto my back, and then onto my front again. And it just allows me to cut a slightly tighter corner around the buoy there, allowing me to set up for a nice continuous flowing turn around that open water swimming buoy to get me into my rhythm to continue on to the next buoy and keep the course as straight and as short as I possibly can. Now of course there's an alternative, much simpler way of getting around that buoy. It might add an extra metre or so, but certainly when you're starting out with open water swimming, don't feel like you need to do the turn flipping over onto your back and then back onto your front, although it is a good skill to practice. The alternative is to swim in towards the buoy and take a slightly wider turn around and almost just bend your body around the buoy to try and keep swimming. The key with both of those turns is they do allow you to keep your freestyle stroke going. The last thing you want to be doing is sort of swimming in towards the buoy, panicking a little bit, going head up breaststroke, having everyone swim over the top of you and feel like you're really getting bogged down around the buoy. So those two options there are going to allow you to cut around the buoy in as safe and as quick manner as you possibly can. One final tip. Many buoys sit very buoyant on the top of the water, obviously. They're usually buoyed down with a key rope down to the bottom of the ocean or river or wherever you're swimming. Sometimes that buoy sort of lifts up from the surface of the water and it's quite easy to get your arm caught underneath that buoy. It's not a very nice experience having that happen to you. So a slightly wider berth around the buoy is often quite favourable, just to avoid the tendency to actually get stuck underneath the buoy and then having a little bit of a panic attack. And it has happened to me before in previous occasions, and it's not the nicest thing to happen. Watch, I'm just going to roll over onto my back and then flip back over onto my front. Okay, here we go then. So the swimmer's now doing a 200 metre complete circuit here, just following the little advice I gave them for the turns around the corner, around the buoys, rolling over onto their back and then back onto their front. We're practicing a little bit of drafting here as well today. As you can see, long straight line, directly on the toes of each other. This has been shown to save anywhere between about 18 and 34% of the energy expenditure that you're likely to be expending if you're just swimming by yourself, so it's well worth practicing in your own time.